Hello, I'm Jennifer Brower, and this is my video about Chapter 3 in our book that we're reading, which is called The Comprehensive Classroom Management. In this chapter, we're learning about establishing effective relationships with the students. Now, what I read in this chapter was that whenever you're making a relationship with a student, you have to be open and have and be professional and make sure you have correct dialogue with the students. This will make you have an effective relationship with them, and it will also make the student be more like have a better relationship with you. It's very important that you create a good student and teacher relationship and not a bad one. A good student relationship would be being open with the student, but not too open. You don't want to give too many aspects about your life to the student, because if you do that, it might make you have a little bit of an inappropriate relationship, and you don't want that. So what you're looking for is that you want to be professional about doing this, because some people that are teachers that share too much about their personal life and all that other stuff makes the child maybe sometimes feel uncomfortable. So that's what we were learning about in this chapter. Also, you have to kind of keep honest with the students. You can't sit there and tell them one thing and then do another. Like, for example, if you say it's wrong to steal, and then you go and you take an apple from the cafeteria and the student sees you and you didn't pay for it, then therefore they think it's okay to steal because they saw you do it. That's one part in this book. And then I'm trying to make sure I make all the points. I have this written down. Electronic communication with the teachers and student relationships. You have to you can't let the kids know you have, if they know you have a Facebook. I wouldn't. I just wouldn't. I would just make it very, if they do see that you have a Facebook, I would make it, or Instagram or anything like that, I'd make it very private, or only show pictures of animals or something like that. That's kind of like what it's explaining in the book. Kind of, keep it professional. You can show like some of your family dynamic things, but you want to keep it professional. You don't want to like, I don't know how to explain this. You don't want to kind of put pictures of yourself like drinking or anything like that so that students see it, but you can put stuff out there like, this is my dog Sugar, because I have a dog named Sugar, or this is my mom's horse, or something like that. Not something like this is me in a bikini, or this is me drinking a margarita in a bikini. Another thing is showing methods of communicating caring and support. This is like more like showing empathy to the student, because you want to empathize with them. Like, for instance, say that a student's parent dies. Well, then you want to be like, well, I'm sorry that happened to you, but let's think of things that we can get through this time right now. You don't want to sit there and dwell on the fact that their parent died, or their grandparent, or so on and so forth. Let's see. And also, It's good to have an interpersonal relationship, um, because when you have a good interpersonal relationship with a student, then they're more likely to tell you if somebody's doing something wrong, or if they feel a certain way, or if a student is bullying them. Because sometimes, if the student thinks that you're a bully as a teacher, then they will not come to you and tell you when something is wrong. So another important aspect is whenever you're in the classroom and you're starting out your day, it's important to do things like meeting them at the door, give them a high five, give them a hug, say, hey, I hope we're going to have a great day today, or something like that. Sorry, my stuff is falling everywhere. And then also too, it's good to do like a student inventory and have like school surveys. Like you can have let's see, like what we were doing, like a reading survey to see if what kind of books the child likes to read, so you know what to put in your classroom. Another thing is sometimes, like if you can tell they're having a bad day, you can do like a Google form and send it out, and that's kind of like electronic, and it'd be like you're what am I trying to say? You're trying to get to know the student in a different way. Like if you know that they're having a bad day or whatever, then you can be like, let me reach out with them to a Google form and see if they want to meet with me. And another thing is, if you know that a kid is interested, like in baseball or anything like that, you could go to their game. And they would really appreciate that. Because I know whenever I was a kid, my teacher would go to my tennis games, and I really liked that. And then I've noticed like sometimes that my kids' teachers would go to their volleyball games or baseball games. And then, and it's also good, like it says in the chapter, it's also good like to sit there and play with them. Even though it's their resource time, and they're trying to be outside and play and stuff, it's good for them to have a teacher come out and play with them and have fun and show that they're just not always just a teacher. Like you kind of can, get a really good understanding from that. Also, too, it's important to show support for student diversity. Like if somebody in your class is fasting, maybe that day don't offer a snack because you know that the student is fasting, and it would hurt their feelings because they knew that everybody else would be able to get a snack and they couldn't because they're fasting. You're not to have any physical contact with the students, though. You need to make sure you have your own personal space and they have their own personal space, because you don't want any kind of allegations or anything. And make sure that you're always positive. It also says in this chapter about maintaining a high ratio of positive and negative statements. Make sure your statements are positive. Don't be always negative Nancy. You can't be like, well, such and such is a better teacher because they like to play games more, and I'm more of a strict teacher, and y'all have to stand with my schedule that I have, so I don't have time to play. So stuff like that. Also too, it says in this chapter, it's okay to say what you expect of the students, but say your expectation is like, I want all of y'all to make a B on this test, and that'd be great. But if you don't, it's fine. Or, something like that, because it will make the kids that score higher feel better, but then sometimes it might make the kids that score lower feel worse. Also, too, in this chapter, so you have to be careful about that. And also in this chapter, it also explains about giving feedback. You have to be specific when you give feedback. You can't be like, you did a great job. You have to say why they did a great job. That's really important. Really important to communicate that. And then, let's see. Let me make sure I hit all the points here. You have to listen to the students. You can't be like, okay, all right. You know, when they're trying to tell you, hey, Jimmy hit me on the playground. You have to be like, excuse me, what'd you say? And let's make sure we hear all of it, because if you don't hear all of it and you just hear parts of it, and you make sure you get both sides of the story. That's another good thing about listening to students. Make sure you always get both sides of the story. And then, let's see, let me make sure I got everything in here on my bullet point list. And another thing that's really important that I saw in this chapter was responding to behavior that distracts the positive, supportive learning of the environment. Whenever somebody, okay, let's say a child is sitting there banging their head on the desk and it's distracting to the other students. You got to find a way to somehow say, come on, let's go outside and do this right quick. I'll be right back. So it doesn't make the students negative. Like, haha, he's going outside. We have to say, can you, you have to excuse yourself. I'm going to excuse myself for a minute while I'll deal with, we're going to go to the hall and talk to such and such. Or you could probably call, if there's special needs, you could probably call their special needs teacher and be like, I need your help. Because that's what, everybody's there to help. That's an important thing to do. And so that was the chapter 3 on establishing positive teacher-student relationships.